Hey, second graders, happy Wednesday. Today is May 13th. I hope you have had a great day. I can see a lot of you guys have been working so hard on our assignments, and I love being able to see who's going in to work on their iReady lessons. So I'm super proud of you those of you who have been able to get in and complete some of the lessons. That's great, because next week, all of our iReady math lessons, all of them, will be on iReady. So for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you'll be assigned a specific lesson in iReady that I've already picked out for you. I went through all of them today, and so we're going to be working on some really great lessons next week. So if you haven't had a chance to get into iReady, please make sure to do that. If you are stumped, you don't know how to, send me a message and I can help. Remember, all you need to do is download the app on your iPad, but then you're getting into iReady through Clever. So it's very easy to do, and I think the lessons are really fun, and there's some really great activities in there for you to be doing. So if you haven't already, please get into iReady through Clever. Also, I visited Mrs. Copeland's Writing Wednesday, the very last part. It sounds like there were so many kids there. That's so great. Mrs. Copeland said that it was a really good time, but there were just tons of people. She couldn't help everybody. So tomorrow is Thursday, and I will be giving I'll be doing my virtual hours, office hours from 2 o'clock, probably to 3 o'clock tomorrow is my guess. And as usual, we'll cover our math concept for the week, which will be, again, identifying money, but also making change. But I'll also cover if you need more support and more help in writing your letter to Mr. Bond, bring your letter to our Zoom meeting tomorrow, and I can also focus on that. So we're focusing on making sure we have a opening, a greeting, a body, a closing, and a signature is what I'm looking for. And then you need to pick a rule or something that you would like Mr. Bond to either add or change or take away at Sacagawea. So if you need some help with that tomorrow, bring it at 2 o'clock. I'll send out the link tomorrow morning. I'll send it out through Seesaw and also through email so everybody can join. It'll be at 2 o'clock. So we'll cover money, and I'll also give some more help for those who need help writing their letter to Mr. Bond. All right, so I also mentioned on Friday, we will have our class circle, and we have two very special guests who've never joined us before will be there on Friday. So make sure you mark your calendars for 2 o'clock on Friday to come so you can see who our special guests are. You will not be disappointed, I promise. All right, yesterday I gave you a new clue about where Penelope Peabody is, and you guys, a lot of you knew where she was. Let me read the clue to you again. Yesterday afternoon, I saw Crater Lake. I wanted to go diving to the bottom, but someone told me it would be nearly impossible. It's the deepest lake in the United States, over 2,148 feet deep. I asked a nice stranger what state I'm in. He said, "You're in the Beaver State, of course." I checked my map. There's no state called Beaver. The poor man must have been a little confused. I am lost yet again. Which state am I traveling through this time? All right, here it is. And man, oh man, you guys knew where Penelope was. The people who got it correct already, listen to this list. Marley, Caden, Weston, Cadence, Raven, Bennett, and my mom. Wow, so many people got it correct already. That is awesome. If you think you know where she is and you haven't guessed yet, send me a message in Seesaw or on the video or an email, whatever's easiest, and tell me where she's at. Friday, I will tell you which state she's in and give you a new clue. So you still have a few days to figure out where Penelope is. I am going to go back into our one and only Bob and read a few chapters. I love to, some of you guys are sending me messages saying you enjoy the book. I am glad you are. I am too. All right, we are going to start reading. This one is called Will. I'm going to put the book like this so you can see it. I found a small hollow at the base of a fallen tree. I poked my nose in and got a swat and a hiss from a grouchy raccoon. "Keep going. waddling, whimpering. Lights ahead, new, strange smells. Kept going. Kept going. It's amazing how much the sheer will not to die can keep you moving. The next one's called Exit 8. I finally came to a small road curving off the main highway. Exit 8 turned out to be. A big billboard overhead had a picture of a terrifying animal on it. Of course, I didn't know what a billboard was. I didn't know that the scary animal was a gorilla, let alone that he would become my dearest friend. But something told me to follow the off-ramp. And eventually I ended up at the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan. History is the next chapter. I made it to the mall. Slept in dirty hay by some garbage bins. The next day I found that hole in Ivan's cage. I stole his banana, slept on his belly, and the rest, as they say, is history. For 2 years I lived at that seedy old place that was part mall, part circus, and all crummy. But that was nothing compared to Ivan. He spent 27 lousy years there, and our dear friend Stella, an old circus elephant, who stuck there for most of her life, too. When Stella passed away, it nearly broke Ivan's heart. I tried like crazy to get him through those dark days, but what really saved him, I think, was Ruby, our baby elephant friend. Before Stella died, Ivan promised that he'd get Ruby out of the awful place, and to my amazement, he actually pulled it off. Ivan and Ruby and a bunch of the other pals ended up going to different places, zoos and sanctuaries that knew how to take care of them. There were others of their own kind, and they loved and they were well cared for. It's been over a year now since we all moved, and they seemed so much happier. Me? I lucked out. My girl, Julia, whose dad had worked at the mall, decided her family needed a dog. Who was I to argue? 2 square meals, my own bed, all the belly rubs I could beg for. What dog in his right mind would say no to that? The best part is, we don't live far from Ivan and Ruby. I get to see them all the time. I'm glad that they're nearby, and I'm thrilled they've settled in so well. Really, it's a solid situation, but it's not perfect. All right, I think I'll read one more. This is called Tennis Ball. The way I understand things is like this. We live on a lonely ball called Earth, and humans have basically been throwing it against the wall for so long that the poor old ball is falling apart. It's like me with a tennis ball, chewing away until it's nothing but pieces of slimy rubber that taste like, slimy rubber. And that means there aren't as many places left for wild animals. Seems there are good zoos, and good sanctuaries and bad sanctuaries, just like there are good dog families and bad dog families. The good places are trying to keep wild species healthy and safe. They don't want endangered animals to go away forever. They also don't want the earth to turn into a slimy, dilapidated tennis ball. Although, honestly, slimy rubber doesn't taste half bad. You should try it sometime. No thanks. The thing is, I would give anything to see my dear pal Ivan deep in the jungles of Africa where he was born. Or to see Ruby running across the savannah with a herd of elephants, her big old ears flapping in the wind. I'd give up a mile-high pile of bacon cheeseburgers to see that happen. I really would. But it isn't happening. I get that, and so do they. When you're an animal, it helps to be a realist. All right, I'm going to stop there. You can see next it says 2, so I think that means the next part of the story. Also, remember that this story is based on a true animal. So Ivan was real. We talked about that. Ruby and Stella and Bob are not real animals, but there really was in Washington a gorilla named Ivan who lived, I think, up in Tacoma at the Big Top Mall for 27 years, just like what the book says, and then eventually he was moved to a zoo where he lived out the rest of his life. So this story the one and only Ivan was based on a true story, and then this story talks a little bit more about Ivan, but again, remember, that was real, it really did happen, but all the other characters, Stella and Ruby and Bob, those are all fictional. And then, of course, Ivan didn't really tell them how he lived his life, so it's based off of the truth. But anyway, so for today, that's all I have for you. Tomorrow, I will read more from this book. If you know where Penelope is, get back to me. Thanks. Bye.